The December wind howled outside the high-rise hotel, but inside the penthouse of SG Funds, the air shimmered with laughter, jazz, and champagne. Beneath the glow of fairy lights, Mark stood by the bar, his tuxedo crisp, his expression tight. He'd been at his wife Simone's company Christmas party for 2 hours, and she'd disappeared almost the moment they arrived. At first he thought she was mingling with colleagues, but after his second beer, his patience thinned. The party blurred into noise, people laughing, dancing, flirting. Simone had always told him these events were dull, that financial people were unbearable. Yet tonight she seemed to be having the time of her life, without him. When she finally reappeared, her cheeks flushed, laughter spilling out with her friend Linda and 3 men in expensive suits, Mark saw something in her eyes that made his stomach twist. One of the men's hands lingered too long on her waist. Simone barely noticed. "Oh, there you are," she said, kissing him on the cheek. He could smell tequila on her breath and something else he couldn't name. He asked where she'd been. She avoided his eyes. Linda covered with a lie about a few shots, but Simone didn't seem to remember that story. Before he could ask more, she chirped, "We're heading to Ben's place. The hot tub's already heating up. You're coming, right?" Mark's pulse spiked. A hot tub? At midnight? At her boss's penthouse? Something inside him screamed that this was wrong. But he smiled tightly. "Sure," he said. When they left, Simone didn't ride with him. She climbed into another car with Linda and the men, their laughter echoing through the parking lot as he followed behind. At the penthouse, the music pulsed through the walls. He found her already in the hot tub, bikini-clad, champagne in hand, pressed between 2 of her senior partners. They looked like rich frat boys, loud and careless. His heart sank as he watched from the window, the steam rising around them. Her laughter was different, reckless, unrecognizable. Then he saw it, a moment that stripped away everything he thought he knew. Her body language, their hands, her expression, it was unmistakable. Mark stood frozen. Then, shaking, he pulled out his phone. He filmed just long enough to know it was real. He could have barged down there, but instead he sat in the guest room, staring at the phone screen. Every smile, every lie, every "I love you" played back in his mind like a cruel joke. When she came looking for him, still damp from the hot tub, she asked, "Why aren't you joining us?" He grabbed her arm, led her into a side room, and closed the door. "You gonna tell me when our marriage became open?" he asked, voice trembling. Her eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" He played the video. Silence filled the room. Her face paled. Then, almost casually, she said, "Mark, it didn't mean anything. We were just—" "Don't," he cut in, his voice cracked. "Don't you dare say it didn't mean anything." He slipped off his wedding ring and dropped it into her palm. Then he took hers and placed it beside it. "Merry Christmas, Simone," he whispered. "You can tell your boyfriends I won't be seeing you again." He left without another word. That night, he packed her belongings into trash bags, shoved them into her car, and parked it outside. He changed the locks, blocked her number, and slept through her endless calls. By morning, she was gone. Over the weekend, he researched divorce laws, contacted an attorney, and learned just how deeply she'd deceived him. Her affair hadn't been a one-night betrayal. It had been going on since she joined SG Funds, and there were others. When her friend Linda called, saying Simone was a wreck, Mark felt nothing. "She brought this on herself," he said coldly. 2 days later, he received messages from unknown numbers. Both contained videos. Simone and her bosses again filmed that same night. One man looked into the camera and said, "That's quite a wife you've got, bro. Too bad you weren't here." Mark's stomach turned. He copied the files to his computer and called his lawyer. He wanted revenge, but not the reckless kind. He wanted justice. When he served the company with papers for infidelity and moral misconduct, the news spread fast. Within weeks, SG Fund's reputation collapsed. Their clients withdrew millions. The firm bled out quietly, its reputation destroyed. Simone tried calling again. She even begged for marriage counseling. The court ordered 6 sessions. He didn't want to go, but he did. Sitting across from her in the therapist's office, he barely recognized her. She looked smaller, hollow. "I want us back," she said softly. "I'm pregnant, Mark. Please, let's fix this." He laughed bitterly. "You don't even know who the father is." Her eyes filled with tears. The counselor tried to calm them both, but Mark pulled out his phone and played one of the videos. The counselor's expression hardened. "Tell her," he said to Simone. "Tell her how many men there were." Simone looked down. I don't know. Maybe 50? I didn't think." "You didn't think?" His voice rose, trembling with rage. "You risked everything. For what? To feel wanted?" Simone sobbed silently. "They told me it was normal," she whispered, "that some husbands liked it." Mark stood. "Not this husband." The counselor ended the session early. By the time they left, the air between them felt colder than ever. That night, he got a call from Linda again. Simone was in the hospital. Complications with the pregnancy. For a moment, Mark hesitated. Then he went. She looked fragile in the hospital bed, her face streaked with tears. "Do you really hate me?" she asked. He sighed. "No," he said finally. "Not anymore. I'm just done." She nodded weakly. "I'm sorry." "I know," he said. "But sorry doesn't change what you did." He left without looking back. Months later, the divorce was finalized. His lawyer handed him a settlement check so large it didn't feel real. SG funds had collapsed. Her lovers were disgraced. Simone and Linda ended up working at a retail store in a strip mall, far from the world of wealth and power they once flaunted. Mark rebuilt his life quietly. It wasn't easy. Trust didn't come back overnight. But one spring evening at a cafe downtown, he met Claire Hansen, a woman with the same weary look of someone who had been betrayed and survived it. They talked for hours. No lies, no games, just honesty. As they walked together beneath the streetlights, Mark felt something stir in him again. Not love yet, but the faint warmth of it. He smiled at her, and for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel like pretending.